Alright, so this video is going to be my third video about my revised or my polished video covering my previous 7 videos initially that I uploaded, but I feel like that wasn't detailed enough. So this is going to be my third and final wrap up, hopefully, because I've covered a lot of topics in my previous videos already, like in my previous 2 videos already, and this is the third one. So I'm going to get a bit deep, and I think that was going to be more than enough. So if you always have any question, you can ask me in the comment section below. So let me continue. One thing I feel like I missed to mention to you guys was I moved from Saratov in Russia to Stavropol to study in Russia, but I didn't just move like when I finished my badfak in Saratov. Initially, when I was in Saratov, like during my badfak years, that's my first year in Russia. In order for me to my visa was about to expire, so I had to like renew my visa to my new university. So I wasn't able to do that in Russia. I had to go back to Ghana, and then from Ghana come back again to Russia, but to a different city this time. So at that time, I completed my first year in Padfak in Saratov. I was I was done. All my friends were traveling. Some of them traveled back to their country. Some of them were preparing to go to different cities to continue their 6 years of medicine. And I was stuck in Saratov. I was dependent on on my dad because my mom wasn't working. My dad was funding me at that time, and he was suggesting that my dad he's very like controlling. He has like a behavior, a bit of a problem. And he's like a bit verbally and emotionally abusive. He's not the best of person, but I always credit him sometimes based on some of the things he's done. At least he did something. So it wasn't like he did nothing at all. So he said that I should wait in Russia, Saratov, until I get my invitation letter to travel to Sevastopol to study there. And I was remaining with like a week or two until my visa expired in Saratov. And I was telling him like, yo, my visa is about to expire. Please help me with the plane ticket so I can leave Russia. And he's like, no, even if it's like 2 days remaining, you have to wait till you have an invitation letter before leaving Russia. And imagine if my visa expired, I could have been deported from Russia for the next 5 years, and my whole life will have been a whole mess afterwards. So it's a very difficult parents to have, and being dependent. I didn't have anyone to help me with plane tickets at that time. Even to this day, I won't be able to even afford myself one. So it was very hard. So yeah, eventually I was able to talk to my his my dad's family, like his brother. I explained the situation to him, and he's also like a low key, like he works in the university, so he's like, I don't know how to explain it, but more of like an assistant lecturer, something like that. So spoke on the phone with him, and eventually he helped me a lot. I got my plane tickets. I was able to move to Ghana, but before that, like I was living in a hostel back in Saratov. So my time ran out, and I was forced to leave the hostel to a hotel. So when I moved, I didn't go necessarily to a hotel. I moved to another hostel. So I was going to be there for like the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I didn't have so much money to book myself an actual hotel. I was waiting in a hostel. In the hostel, there were many people in the room, like more than one. Like we were like 8 in the room at some point, sometimes 6 in the room. So I was waiting there. That was a different hostel that I was. I forgot the name because it's a long time ago. And all of a sudden we had an emergency, because But as I was living there, the Russians were quite nice. Even though I was like a foreign person, they were nice to me. And the language barrier wasn't too much of a problem because at that time my Russian has improved a bit. I was able to communicate a bit with Russians. So one time we had an emergency. There was a fire outbreak, and I had to move from that hostel to a different hostel. All in the course of it happened like in the course of just 2 weeks or even 3 weeks. In a very short period of time, so many things happened. In the other hostel, I was there for like a week and some few couple of days, like a week and 2 days until my plane ticket got ready. And I was preparing to leave Saratov to Ghana, to the Russian embassy in Ghana to get my visa and then come back to Russia again. So everything here happened like within the course of 3 weeks or 1 month. So when I was in this hostel, like the day came and I left Russia. When I was in the airport, like on my aeroplane, I began to feel a bit itchy. My whole body was like itching me. I was like, what is going on here? I go back to Ghana, I rested, I was so happy. The next day I woke up and there was all these things growing on my skin. Only for me to realize I was actually having chickenpox. It seems like the hostel that I was living in Russia, well, it wasn't properly taken care of. So I got chickenpox. It's pretty, chickenpox is not that bad because once you get it, you become immune to it. You don't get it again. So I got it, and over that past 1 month in Ghana, or like a few couple of weeks, it was horrible because my whole body was covered with pox. Like nowadays, when it happens and your whole body is just covered in rash, and my whole body was so itchy. So my mom went to the hospital. She got me some ointment to use for my body, and yeah, after some few couple of weeks, I was recovering. So when I go back to Ghana after like 2 to 3 weeks, I went to the Russian embassy. I got my visa, and then I was preparing to head back to Russia again. That is this time in Stavropol, in a different city, Stavropol, to study medicine. So like yeah, I got back. I started doing my 6 years of medicine, and one thing I can say is that so I covered a lot of topics about this already, but I'm going to just go right again, but this time into a bit more detail. So remember back in Russia, I spoke about COVID hitting and or parents losing their jobs and things getting very hard from there. So I had to work a bit for myself, and sometimes parents would send a bit of money from like borrowed money, but it was so little, and I had to like fund myself. So the means I was funding myself was working in Russia at the same time studies. So let me tell you how I did it. Initially, I was like, consulting people for help, and some of them, some foreign students, what they do is in Russia, they do private teaching. Okay, some of them are like private teachers, private English teachers. So they teach Russians, and Russian somehow they happen to be very interested in Russian language. Most of them actually want to learn Russian. Most of them actually want to learn English. My bad. So yeah, it becomes a business for many international students, and most of them get into it, and they make a bit money. Not so much, but it's quite well enough, to sustain yourself, especially when you're broke. So I also tried to do the same, but I wasn't able to get myself a teaching job. It was hard. Like I would apply to many companies. I would sit on my phone, sometimes laptop. I'll apply, ask people for help, but I wasn't getting it. But for some people, some few individuals, they were able to get a job. So I was thinking, okay, what else can I do? And then I saw this offer, like on the I saw this offer like when I'm walking down the streets sometimes in Russia, like back from university. It's like a phone call company, more like it's phone call about like health related with helping. It's like you securing like a deal with Americans. But I don't really remember it well, but that's like what the full phone call company is about. There are many phone call businesses out there. Okay, so this was just another phone call business, an example. So I got the, I got I got there. I went to the accountant or the secretary, and they took my name down. I told them I wanted to work phone call. They gave me some training. I was learning how to do the phone call thing, what the whole thing is all about. And yeah, I was able to secure myself a job there. So the job actually it starts like for example from 6 p.m. all the way to 2 a.m. That's in midnight 2 a.m. So imagine how hard it was. I had to combine studies with work. So in the morning I wake up in Russia like 6 a.m. I get ready for lectures, but I have to be there by at least 8 a.m. or like 9 a.m. We close lectures by 11 a.m. and then I have classes from 12 a.m. to like 3 p.m. I need to get to work by 6 p.m. till the next morning 2 a.m. So it was very hard moments for me. So I did that job for like a month or two and I just quit because it was too much on my body to handle. So I got myself a bit of money to take care of myself a little bit here and there because life was hitting me. It was pretty bad. And even to this day, it hasn't gotten any better. It is still what it is. I'm just trying to transform everything. So aside that, fast forward to like around 50 or 60, I decided to get myself another different job. This time during vacation, because in vacation, like I work a little bit, and sometimes the jobs it varies with what I can get. Sometimes I get like jobs at ice cream companies during vacation, like throughout Russia. Sometimes I get like it's like you working for a manufacturing metal company and you just carry like objects for them, right? So then you get paid and you go home. So during FIT, I decided to try different jobs like welding. Okay, so I did welding for I went to this company in Russia. The names are in Russian, so forgive me if I'm not able to remember it correctly. It's in Russian. I cannot remember it well. So I was just like welding metals. I hope you know what welding is. Yeah, and I was doing that for like a month or two again. I did it for a very short period of time because I cannot do it for too long. You know, we have vacation for like a month. We in Russia we vacate around July and then we open at September. So you have like almost 2 months to work. So you don't have too much time. And when school reopens and you're working and studying, it becomes very difficult. I was doing that, but I stopped. I just decided to just save it for vacations. So this welding job was for my vacations. I did that for some time, on my fifth year to sixth year, only on vacations, and I raised myself a bit of money just to feed myself a little bit. Even with that, it wasn't enough. And yeah, and I remember back when I was doing the welding thing, I had like a problem with my hand. The metal scraped my hand one time, so it became too hard. I had to put a tourniquet to my hand and I had to quit doing welding for some time. So life wasn't too easy over there. It was hard. And the welding thing, we did it from morning like 8 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. every day. I wasn't allowed to skip works any working day. If I skipped, I would not get paid. So I had to work until the end of the month before getting paid. And the salary at the end of the month was 30,000 rubles. I was converting that money into dollars. I'm not sure of the conversion rate. You can check it out on Google yourself. So yeah, that was a bit of the into detail of the work that I did. And one more last thing about the work that I did in Russia. So one time I would like to share this tragic story. One time I was working in Russia. There was more of this job was different. It was a concrete job. Like it's about cement and you like raising cement, doing all those things. So this was back in around fifth year too as well. You know, because I was doing so much work, so much. So I was working with my Ghanaian friend, you know, and then he kind of, it's a very tragic story, but I'm just sharing with you guys. We're working and then there's one guy from Dagestan, and you know, my Ghanaian friend got into a car with him. And well, the Dagestan dude was able to, you know, to knock my friend out, and knock out. It was very painful for me to watch. At that time, I thought he was dead because I was very sad. You know, I'm working with my friend, and here he is. He's almost dying, and he was almost done with leaving Russia. But unfortunately, that happened to him. And fortunately enough, he didn't die. But he got so mad at me for not helping him. I felt bad because I wasn't able to do anything. But he's a bit of an angry head, you know, a very short-tempered dude, and I feel like he got what he deserved. So from that moment onwards, I tell myself, you know what, if I'm going to work, I'm just going to work. I'm not going to fight with anyone. And that dude was called Daniel. So Daniel, wherever he is, may God help him. A very short-tempered dude. So that's one of my few experiences that I've had in Russia. I learned to be very calm, you know, be composed, serve your purpose, don't overdo it, you know, don't let emotions get the best of you sometimes. Like he got knocked out and he could have died, but fortunately enough, that did not happen. And here I am today. I mean, I'm sitting here. I've avoided any trouble that has came my way throughout the 6 years, and I'm happy enough to be here. So that's all I wanted to add. I feel like I've went into enough detail with the rest of my videos, the last two videos, and with this third one, I've went into absolute detail with how my life was. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.